An ambassador can become an effective ambassador by either participating for that cause, in contributing, in participating, in building that cause up. Or you can take the example and take somebody's example, or you set an example of yourself because of some conduct. So the third is conduct. Participation, standing as an example, and then the conduct. So he said, before us you have the Prime Minister, and therefore we can do like the way he does. Participate in everything that you believe. You want the Northeast to be an engine of India's development and growth. To reach that developed goal, to become developed country, you want Northeast to be the engine of our growth. And therefore he believes in this place, he wants to come here. Even without coming here, he stays somewhere else, but makes sure investments happen in Northeast. And that is one example of yesterday, which the Honorable Finance Minister of Assam nicely quoted. Now, before I go on to talking about other things, what is it that which came to Assam yesterday? You're all students of IIT, you have students of Kendriya Vidyalaya who will also want to probably be part of them at least will want to be in IITs or anything else. What came yesterday is very different from all the investments made before. Why? Did it have more money than others? Money can come, big investments can come, big huge amounts can come. But what came yesterday is history. It's actually a big historical moment for the Northeast and in particular for Assam. See, what happens is when you're looking at development of a particular region or a particular state, you tend to think what are the natural advantages which exist there. And you again think about the source of raw material, the skilled labor, and therefore what is good here. So when you talk of Northeast, repeatedly you will get to hear of, a lot of limestone, so cement industry. There's a lot of bamboo, therefore bamboo processing, and so on. There's a lot of fruits, wonderful organically grown fruits, so fruits, or processing of fruits, or exporting of fruits. All that will have to happen. I'm not saying no. But what happened yesterday is something for which not just some states of India, which are already well into industry, well into manufacturing, and therefore they'll vie to have them. But even some countries, other than leave some of the states in India, there are countries which long to have a part of that semiconductor value chain in their countries. But Assam got it. When many other states in India want semiconductors because they have the advantage of skilled manpower, already a lot of startups, already a lot of other ecosystem which is required for any one of those semiconductor ladder. Semiconductor, when you talk of semiconductor as one, but it has several steps in it. The initial stages and the advanced stage. In between, you're also looking at chip manufacturing or assembly or testing or marketing or packaging. There are different stages in the production of semiconductors. So there are states which tell you, I have the natural ecosystem for it, come please set it up here. But even as we are doing it, there, a decision of the Honorable Prime Minister saying, why not one of the northeastern states go set it up in Assam, and the Tata Group has come to Assam to invest and set up a ATMP plant for semiconductor manufacturing, and that's why yesterday's decision is a historic moment for the Northeast. You had the most advanced. So the 65 visits to Assam is not just to tick a box saying, I've come. Every 2 months I plan to come, I've come. No, it's not that, just that. It's understanding what the youth of this area want. They're just not going to have to wait like many other states took years, decades to progress one step ahead. Northeast youth today have all the energy, all the skill set, all the communication ability, all the energy, and all the enthusiasm that sunrise sectors can provide us that require such young youth population. And therefore, there we go, the first major semiconductor manufacturing setup is being done in Assam. And that's why I said it's history. Now, if Prime Minister came 65 times, the entire cabinet and the Council of Ministers also never hesitated to come, each one carrying their own department's agenda, but come here to perform. Collectively, I'm not going to ask you to guess because it's a bit surprising number for me too, but 850 times ministers visited in the last 10 years. Council of Ministers, a month, each minister has to come to Northeast. So either we go to Tripura or Nagaland or Arunachal and so on, but together all of us in the last 10 years have come 850 times. That shows the priority, that shows how we make sure that attention should be given to Northeast, the importance that Northeast has in the scheme of things in our economy. And of course, data points, everybody is interested, so I will give you a lot of data points today. For the first time in 40 years, when in 2016, Honorable Prime Minister chaired the meeting of the Northeast Council, Prime Minister chairing the Northeast Council has happened in 2016 for the first time after a wait of 40 years. So these points prove to you that the Northeast receives the long overdue attention from Prime Minister and the entire Council of Ministers. So repeatedly I'm giving you data only to reinfuse that point that Northeast not just catch up but go fast on this route of building India. Many firsts have happened in the last 10 years for the Northeast. I want to just put it all before you because it gives you at one go what this region has achieved, which it couldn't achieve prior to 10 years ago. It achieved in trickles, whereas what it has achieved in the 10 years is remarkable. And therefore, I list it out for you, even if you think I'm just crowing about what had been achieved. It is important for us to know it. Why? If you're going to have to believe in the Northeast, if you're going to have to believe that Northeast will not be neglected, and if you're going to have to believe that Northeast, if not neglected, will contribute as an engine to India's growth aspirations, and it'll be the engine which will lead us to 2047, the developed India 2047, you should know in 10 years what's been achieved. And then you have the confidence, the faith, and then is when you will be able to say, yes, I believe we can make it, we can reach Viksit Bharat, and therefore I am an ambassador, and this is what I'm going to contribute, whatever you choose to contribute. So the list of what had happened in 10 years is quickly being recalled so that all of us understand where we are. You're okay with me in English, or you want me to take a chance, make me speak in Hindi? English is all right? Or entertainment in the name of my Hindi? My Hindi is no good. But if you're all right with English, we can quickly carry on. Okay? I can't speak Ahomia, so at least be indulgent that you'll allow me to speak in English. Okay? No response. Yes for what? English. All right. Now, broad gauge trains reached Manipur, Mizoram, Meghalaya, Arunachal Pradesh and Tripura for the first time in the last 10 years. Meaning 70 years went by, broad gauge trains reached in the last 10 years. Goods trains reached Manipur for the first time in 2022. Electric trains reached Meghalaya for the first time in 2023. Nagaland got its first railway station after independence. You heard that? After independence, Nagaland got its first railway station. Sikkim and Arunachal Pradesh were connected to air services for the first time. Nagaland got its first ever medical college in 2023. And Northeast got its first AIIMS in Guwahati in April 2023. India's first ever national level sports university was set up in Manipur in 2018. Northeast's first ship repair facility is being developed through Hooghly Kochi Shipyard Limited, HCSL, at Pandu Port in Guwahati, and that is along the river Brahmaputra. Ship repair facility. You would think only ports which are on the sea coast will have it, but when you have inland waterways developing rapidly in this country, you need that as well, and that is being set up in Guwahati or in Assam. India's first international multimodal logistics park is coming up in Jogi Gopa in Assam. India's first Gati Shakti research chair. You know, so much is being spoken, researched into, data is being generated out of PM Gati Shakti. It's a beautifully designed app through which you're able to get several filters play through and tell us which is the most effective way of handling any one common resource, around which if logistics is improved, we will have better connectivity and better realization of value for money. And that is PM Gati Shakti. Now research chairs are being established. The first such research chair in PM Gati Shakti is being established in IIM Shillong. 23rd February 2024, there was an announcement made. That will facilitate research and development and also innovation in logistics capacity of the country. So startups, whoever is present here, please understand that on logistics, there's so much that you can innovate and do for the country, which is established in Shillong. Border villages. I want to speak about border villages for a moment because most of the Northeast states have international border. Those villages in the border areas, in the international border areas, are critical because they are the eyes and ears of the country. If people living there are not going to be able to get information or see what's happening and convey it in time, any amount of smart intelligence cannot help the country. And that is why you need villages in the border areas to be developed. But I'm sorry to have to politicize this. For a minute, I want to say how 10 wonderful years were lost without developing the border villages. The belief of the earlier government for 10 long years, and I'm not saying it out of any kind of inference that I've made. I'll give you a quote from the defense minister who during that time had said, we don't believe in developing the border villages because more the development, it will be easy for the enemy to access us. They looked at it from that point of view, rather than looking at it from the point of view of if people in those villages have to live there, being our eyes and ears, you need to give them every connectivity that you can, whether it is road or by air or even telephone connectivity. So Prime Minister Modi said he looks at those villages as the first villages because they are the point of entry through coming into India, and made sure that money will be spent to develop them. He named the whole program Vibrant Village Program. And as a result, 4,800 crores in our budget between 22, 23 and 25 and 26 have been allotted. Villages are getting connected and all kinds of facilities are being now provided to those border villages. I also do a complete review, both physical and also looking at from our office based on data. So the review shows us that those villages which have been waiting for such facilities are getting it now. Delayed projects is one thing which Northeast suffered from, and more importantly, India's image for any investor who came from abroad was affected by the image that India doesn't complete its projects on time. You lay the foundation stone and forget it. Or you lay the foundation stone and give not adequate money, but keep saying that the project is ongoing. Whereas what Prime Minister Modi has given as a thumb rule to all of us is we should be a government which lays the foundation as much as inaugurates the project. So you cannot afford to have projects going unendingly. Northeast benefited by that thumb rule. Several projects which waited for decades have been completed. I'll just very quickly tell you which are those. After 16 years of wait, the Bogibeel Bridge in Assam was inaugurated in 2018 by Prime Minister. The Dola Sadia Bridge, called Bhupen Hazarika Setu, just as this hall is named after the great son of Assam, Bhupen Hazarika, that Setu is also named after Bhupen Hazarika. Dola Sadia Bridge was inaugurated in 2017. 14 years of wait, and after 14 years you got that bridge as well. Now, record time we are completing many projects, and the others are Sela Tunnel, completed in 5 years, Sabrum Land Port Project in Tripura, completed in 3 years, AIMS Guwahati, completed in 6 years, Arunachal Pradesh's Greenfield Airport in Doni Polu Airport Itanagar was completed in 4 years. So project completion, well within reasonable time, has been the hallmark of Prime Minister Modi's administration. Connectivity in underrepresented areas. Just look at the budget, 2009 to 2014, 5 years for projects of railway infrastructure. 2,122 crores was given during that period. Whereas between 24-25, the amount allocated is 10,369 crores, and that is for railway budget. Around 2,000 kilometers of new railway lines have been laid since 2014 only in the Northeast. Roads. Over 46,296 kilometers of rural roads were completed under PM Gram Sadak Yojana with an expenditure of 47,000 crores. I want this underlined because rural connectivity in the rest of the country is one thing, whereas rural connectivity in the Northeast is another. Because of the terrain, because of its topography, connectivity between one village to another involves a lot more work and probably even a lot more distance. But that is why the distance which was covered in the last 10 years under Prime Minister Modi is 46,296 kilometers. Until 2014, only 10,000 kilometers of national highways were constructed in the Northeast. That is over 7 decades, only 10,000 kilometers. Whereas in the last 10 years, 6,000 kilometers have been completed in the Northeast only. So 10,000 kilometers took 67 years, 6,000 kilometers took just 10 years. Until 2014, there was only one inland waterways. Now there are 20 waterways just in the Northeast. 20 waterways. Over 1,000 crores have been spent on this. Now on airways, very quickly, all 8 states of the Northeast have air connectivity. The number of airports in the Northeast is now increased to 17. I'm talking of 2023. It was only 9 till 2014. Now it is 17. And 17, from among them, you have 3 international airports as well. Northeast and its climatical condition is very conducive to strengthen the edible oil mission in India. You know, we spend a lot of money, foreign exchange, by importing crude oil to run our vehicles, the cars and the trains and the buses and everything else. That is import of fossil fuel. And that oil goes for our mobility. But we also import oil which is edible. India doesn't produce enough oil seeds. As a result, we import a lot of oil, particularly palm oil. And the palm oil comes from the Southeast Asian countries like Indonesia, Malaysia, and so on. Huge amounts of foreign exchange are paid out because we need to import edible oil. But we saw a potential in the Northeast, and therefore, the National Mission for Edible Oil has set up a palm oil mission for the Northeast, and today the cultivation of palm, edible oil palm, has gone up by 700% to 3.4 lakh hectares in the Northeast, growing only oil palm trees. And this will reduce, obviously, our import bills. As of 9th March, PM inaugurated the first oil mill for extraction of palm oil in the Northeast. So you're not just growing the palm and sending off the palm fruits to some other area so that they can extract the oil, but the mills are also being set up in the Northeast so that the oil palm can be extracted for edible oil making, thereby creating jobs, thereby giving value for the product here, and thereby your ecosystem will now become well entrenched in the value system, value chain itself. So that is a very well thought out program. Start the plantation, give the farmers the benefit, give them good assured market, take the oil berries and produce the oil also from the Northeast rather than spend on the logistics and send the fruit somewhere else, but create jobs here. I think that's a very strong mission statement for the Northeast, which is Government of India's making. Similarly is the National Bamboo Mission, which has given a lot of impetus for sustainability related goals. You're able to produce a lot of Northeast bamboo related products. Today it's becoming a cult all over the world that you don't need to use paper, you don't need to use plastic. Here comes bamboo, which can be a perfect substitute for many of our uses, daily usage. I'll again go back to emphasizing how Government of India under Prime Minister Modi brings Northeast back to every picture that we do. The G20 was held in India for India's presidency. We held it all over the country. 20 or more than 20 events were held only in the Northeast, so that the ministers who came to attend went to different parts of the Northeast, saw the region, held their meetings and went back. So now Northeast could showcase all its products during the G20 summit. That way, you're able to see that you're very much in touch with the international market and also showcasing all the wonderful products that you produce here. All this requires financial support. Government of India has made sure that Northeast benefits from everything that we do. I just want to highlight that 25,312 crores have been provided in the name of special assistance to the states for 50 years as an amount given to the Northeast without interest and no repayment till 50 years. You can use them for creating assets in the Northeast. Build your roads, build your buildings such as the secretariat or office space, or some of the small projects which are so required in the rural areas. 25,000 crores, over 25,000 crores have been given to the Northeast. Similarly, in the name of PM Divine program, which creates livelihoods, 6,600 crores is the outlay given for projects which can create jobs in Northeast, and that is specifically for Northeastern states. So PM development and infrastructure monies for the Northeast has been called